as tech becomes more integrated within the organization, as we start seeing a more deep integration with data across the different silos, the growth of CDPs, understanding the right tech and relying on the right tech in many ways is a similar process to choosing the right staff. How do you vet them? What process do you put in place to put the next the email marketing stack that will last to the next generation of marketing in place? To take the lead on this final discussion, we have one more joining us. As soon as Shaw makes it back, we will have a third on stage. But to take the lead on this panel, we have an old friend of MediaPost and this summit, George DeGuido, who is the VP of Subscription Marketing, now at Business Insider. For a number of years was at Meredith's agency MXM, before that at Dotdash and at Airbnb. Please welcome back our old buddy, George.
Thank you. Now, I am literally the last thing standing between you and leaving, because I get to run a roundtable after this. So don't leave yet. We're running roundtables. Ryan gets to run one as well. So please stick around for some conversation about how you're getting to the airport and what flight you're taking. So we do have one more. So if, Sean, you can hear this, we're starting. I did see him. We're starting a little bit early, so we're gonna cut him some slack.
Technically not late, actually. It's we're really jumping the gun here. Oh, here people. You're fine, man.
Hey, let's give him a round of applause.
You're actually early. You're 3 minutes early.
All right. Well, I worked really hard to be early late.
So, Steve, thanks for the introduction. My name is George DeGuido. I'm VP of Subscription Marketing at Business Insider. I've been working in email for 16 years now. Started in the ESP space, spent about 9 years there. Then said, hey, I've been talking about doing email and strategy and been agency side and now back brand side since then. So we have a great people up. I'm going to let themselves do a lot better job than I would. So let's kick it off.
Hi, I'm Newt. I'm really hearing my own voice. I work at ADP, the paycheck people, not the security people. And I'm on a team of marketing technologists, and I'm really happy to say at ADP I'm not a team of one. Before that, I was at Red Hat Software, not the Red Hat Society. And yeah, I love email, MarTech. I've been in the email space for about 8 years, and it's my passion. So.
Hello, my name is Ryan Heft. I'm with Keen, the footwear company, not the psychic company. Yeah,
that's a thing.
It's a thing, Keen.com, psychic company. We're KeenFootwear.com. Also, shout out to Nina. Thank you for wearing your Keens on stage. That was great.
I did. Love them.
Yeah, they're great. Great product. It's an awesome brand to work for. Really happy to be here. I've been with them for about a little over 2 years. And yeah, I am apparently the second or the only other team of one in the room. So I can definitely relate to Sharma. And I do everything from coding and project managing and getting the creative push through the creative team, as well as the strategic growth and kind of planning out the roadmap and whatnot. So yeah.
Hi, I'm Sean Nelson. I'm the Director of Marketing at 3 Day Blinds. I've been with 3 Day Blinds for about going on 8 years now, but been in marketing for about 1.5 years. So it's kind of interesting for me to sit up here because, well, I feel like I really should be an expert in all this stuff and have like wonderful knowledge to share. I'm really here to kind of learn and understand what you guys have been doing. So I'm happy to be up here and share what I know about data and, my experience, but it's your experience that I really want to hear about.
So we're here to talk about technology stacks and how they affect what we do from a everyday perspective, and really what technology that the panel up here is looking at, what they're bringing in-house, what they're working with on a day-to-day basis, and kind of talk through kind of what's happening, what's happened, how things have changed in the last 5 years, and what they're looking for the future. So we're going to focus on tech stacks. We're not going to focus on development stacks, so software frameworks and things like that. But right now, the tech ecosystem is flooded with clouds, platforms. Everything has an acronym. So if you looked at this description for this panel, it was ESPs. There were a bunch of three-letter acronyms. So one of the things, if you're a veteran of MediaPost's Email Insider Summit, there was a crew that used to do a round robin flash, throw out a question, come up with as many answers as we can come up with while we're on stage. So once we're through, we'll throw it out to the audience, see if anybody has any more three letters. I came up with about 8. So we'll see how many the panel come up with. So Sean, we start with you.
Easy ones. CRM, ESP. We talked about those. CM. I think I could feel like CM. I'm not even going to try anymore.
All right. Yeah. Ryan, why don't you...
I can add a few to that, I guess. I mean, there's CDP, ERP. You got AWS and GCP. I guess maybe constitute that, but I won't take all the fun. So
it's awesome. Now there's like one left. MAP. There you
go.
Yeah, that's all I got.
I got a couple more. So we have a DMP.
I thought we said DMP. Oh no.
CMS.
Oh right.
DAM.
Yeah.
Anybody else out in the audience have one that we haven't mentioned?
API.
Not quite a tech platform. But nice try.
I like it though.
Yeah.
KPIs are great, very important, very important. Anybody else? So we rattled off about 10 or so. So there's a lot of different technology out there, and being here for the last 3 days, I must have gotten the EMP probably about 10 times. And I'm going to throw this question first out to the panel in terms of types of questions. What is your typical response? Do you use these platforms? Do you roll your eyes and say, well, we want to, but we can't because X? What is your experience with these technology platforms, and what are you looking at from a technology perspective? Ryan, let's start with you.
That's a great question. I would say, we have particular goals and paths and roadmaps that we're trying to take, and sometimes you have to be a little bit scrappy, and it's piecemealing different things together in order to accomplish what your goal is. So sometimes that uses this part of this technology, sometimes it uses this part, sometimes they have to talk together, sometimes they don't talk together very well, and you have to try to make them talk to each other. And so it's hard to say we use this to do this. We use an ESP born to trigger things, and it's just kind of a big mash.
Not necessarily vendors, but
that's being developed in a larger capacity. We have an e-commerce platform. We have AWS. I would say we have an ERP. Most we check.
How about yourself?
Coming from a B2B space, it doesn't mean we have less tools. They're just a little different. We don't have a customer data platform. We use a CRM. I think most companies have some form of CRM. And then, of course, that integrates with our marketing automation tool. And then we have a few things. Our CRM, probably just in our marketing automation tool, but also in the CRM as well, making sure that data is flowing properly between the two. It's really important. And I also do some consulting work on the side, and folks that maybe are a little new to the space ask a lot of questions about, well, what do I need? Which one's the best? You have to remember that there's no right answer, and it really just depends on your business and what you're trying to achieve, and not to get like Anthony said, shiny object syndrome and just want all the things, they may not apply to you.
Sean, how about yourself?
I'm not going to lie. When people ask me,
Digital asset
Digital
management.
asset management.
oh, okay, yeah, we have that. Yeah, I just didn't know that's what it's called, but yeah, we have one of those. And when thinking about our tech platform, we have all these tools. Our CRO is very, very digital focused. It's almost like any shiny new thing, he'll spark and be like, yeah, we need to have that. What I've discovered coming into to my new role in marketing is that very often website on whatever, I'm going to say Sitefinity, CMS. So we have a CMS that can do a whole bunch of things, and then we are on, well, we need to have this other type of tool that does a little bit more, which then has a 90% overlap with our A/B testing tool. Way too many of them because so many of our vendors are consolidating.
Are you talking about value? As you look at your ecosystem, what tech is most value? Or
Might be different than you guys, but my BI tool is the most important piece I have, because without data, without knowing what is happening and then being able to determine why it's happening and tell other people what we should do about it, none of these tools do anything for me. If I'm trying to get reporting, if the tool does have good reporting, it's really talking about what it does and really care about display so much. And it sounds bad. I don't care into our customer message and what we're doing to support our customer with email. And without knowing how it fits in, it's great.
Brian or Newt?
Yeah, I would say definitely in my world, one-man team of the email channel. So the ESP is the most in my world, but I would say company-wide probably the biggest shift, because we've had an ESP for pretty much ever since we've been D2C. But the biggest change that we've had is again, kind of like you were talking about, we had all these different systems. We had our our ERP that had purchasers, and then we had our email subscribers and our ESP. And some people just purchased, but not all those people who purchased opted in, so they're not in our ESP. So when we created that CDP, kind of we're using that as our one place that holds all of our information for all of our customers, whether they're opted in, whether they're purchasers, whether they're at whatever stage of the life cycle. So that's holistically company-wide. That's probably the biggest piece that kind of drives most of the data.
Yeah, I think it's going to depend on who you ask. I'm with Ryan in that the marketing automation platform is my favorite and where I derive the most value. Because, unlike a lot of really savvy analytics folks, that's not my area of expertise. And so if you give me Tableau or ClickSense, I might cry a little bit. But we're in a marketing automation platform. This is where I feel very comfortable to move data around, orchestrate automation, etc. But I think a lot of any company really might say, well, our customer data platform or our CRM is really the most important place because that's where all of the prospect and customer data is. So I just think it depends on who you ask and what that person or that team's goal is.
Yeah, I think that's important. And part of that process is selecting the right tech stack to bring in. And then after you go through that point of making that selection, you then have to implement, onboard, and then figure out how to use it within your own workflow and use cases. Because during the sales process, most of the times it's, yeah, we can do that. And you can do that with our tool. And then you get in and you're like, okay, now what? So anybody recent implementation